In 1996, a researcher named Thomas Stanley did something no one had done before. He didn't interview celebrities. He didn't talk to tech founders. He didn't go to Wall Street. He tracked down over 1,000 real millionaires, people with a net worth above $1 million, and asked them one simple question. How did you actually do it? The answers destroyed everything we thought we knew about wealth. And 30 years later, the data still holds. Here's where the first myth dies. The average millionaire in America doesn't live in Beverly Hills. They live in a neighborhood like this. 3-bedroom house. Maybe 4. A car that's at least 3 years old. Sometimes older. Thomas Stanley's research, which spanned over 20 years and was later continued by his daughter Sarah Stanley Forlorth, found something that should make you uncomfortable. 80% of American millionaires are first-generation rich. They didn't inherit it. Nobody handed them a trust fund. The number one occupation among millionaires? It's not CEO. It's not investment banker. It's business owner. And not the kind you're thinking of. We're talking about the guy who owns a pest control company. The woman who runs a chain of laundromats. Paving contractors. Diesel mechanics who went solo. Dentists who own their practice. Boring. Invisible. Rich. But here's the thing nobody wants to hear. Stanley found that the majority of millionaires had never spent more than $399 on a suit. Never spent more than $235 on a watch. Never paid more than $41,000 for a car. These are people with net worths of $1, $2, $5, $10 million. Wearing Seiko watches. Driving Toyotas. Buying suits off the rack. Meanwhile, the guy in the leased BMW making $85,000 a year thinks he's winning. He's not. When you strip away the noise, the industries, the geographies, the decades, 5 patterns emerge. Over and over. Like clockwork. Pattern number 1. They live far below their means. Not slightly below. Far below. Stanley coined a formula for this. He called it the expected net worth formula. Take your age, multiply it by your pre-tax income, divide by 10. That's what your net worth should be. If you're 40, earning $100,000 a year, your expected net worth is $400,000. Most millionaires in the study had 2 to 3 times their expected net worth. Most Americans? They had less than half. The difference wasn't income. It was the gap between what they earned and what they spent. Pattern number 2. They allocate time, energy, and money efficiently toward building wealth. These people spend more time planning their finances than buying things. Stanley found that millionaires spend an average of 8.4 hours per month on financial planning. The average American? Less than 2. They track. They budget. They know where every dollar goes. Not because they're obsessive. Because they understand that wealth is built in the margins. But here's where it gets interesting. Pattern number 3. They believe financial independence is more important than social status. This is the big one. This is the fork in the road where most people go left and millionaires go right. Most people buy things to signal success. The car. The watch. The neighborhood. The vacation they post on Instagram. Millionaires in the study actively avoided status spending. Not because they couldn't afford it, but because they understood something most people don't. Every dollar you spend on looking rich is a dollar that will never make you actually rich. Pattern 4. Their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. They weren't financially dependent on family. They learned self-sufficiency early. Pattern 5. Their adult children are economically self-sufficient. They broke the cycle of dependency in both directions. The pattern isn't about money. It's about behavior passed down like DNA. Now let me show you why this matters more in 2026 than it did in 1996. Social media has created an entire economy built on faking wealth. And it's not just influencers doing it. A 2024 study by LendingTree found that 40% of millennials have gone into debt to keep up appearances. Not to buy things they needed. To buy things that made them look successful. The average American car payment is now $734 per month. For a vehicle that loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. You want to know what $734 a month becomes if you invest it instead? At a 10% average annual return, which is roughly the historical S&P 500 average, $734 per month becomes $1.5 million in 30 years. Let that hit you. The difference between retiring a millionaire and retiring broke could literally be your car payment. Thomas Stanley had a term for people who earned high incomes but accumulated little wealth. He called them UAWs, or under-accumulators of wealth. Doctors, lawyers, and executives were some of the worst offenders. They earned $300,000 a year and had a net worth of $200,000. Because they spent every cent maintaining the lifestyle people expected of them. The pressure to look the part ate them alive. But here's the thing. The millionaires in the study, the ones who actually built real, lasting, generational wealth, they called themselves something else. Pause. Prodigious accumulators of wealth. Same income. Completely different outcome. Because they played a different game entirely. They didn't care what the neighbors thought. They didn't care what car sat in the driveway. They cared about one number. Net worth. So what do you actually do with this information? Let me give you the formula. Not a theory. The actual pattern extracted from 1,000 data points. Step 1. Track the gap. Your wealth isn't your income. It's the difference between what you earn and what you spend. Start measuring that gap every single month. If the gap isn't growing, nothing else matters. Step 2. Automate the gap into investments. The moment money hits your account, a portion should vanish into an index fund, a Roth IRA, a brokerage account before you can touch it. Stanley's millionaires didn't rely on discipline. They built systems that removed the temptation. Step 3. Kill status spending. This is the hard one. Audit every recurring expense and ask one question: am I buying this for me or for other people's perception of me? If the answer is the second one, cut it. The leased BMW. The designer clothes you wear twice. The apartment in the trendy zip code. All of it. Step 4. Own something. 86% of Stanley's millionaires owned a business or income-producing assets. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. But you need to start building something: a side business, rental income, equity in a company that compounds independently of your paycheck. Step 5. Play the long game. The median millionaire in the study took 28 years to reach $1 million. 28 years of consistent, boring, unglamorous accumulation. Nobody went viral for it. Nobody got a documentary. Nobody was on a magazine cover. They just showed up. Year after year. And the math did the rest. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Wealth isn't exciting. It's not dramatic. It doesn't make for good content. The people who actually have money look nothing like the people who pretend to. And every day, you get to choose which game you're playing. The one where you look rich. Or the one where you become rich. If this changed how you think about money, hit subscribe. I'm building something here, one video at a time, and the next one is going to make you rethink everything you know about credit cards. Because the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Just not for you.